as the teacher. Where are they up to in terms of life experience? Where are they up to in terms of, what sort of personality do they have? And some of you are beginning to include that in your thinking. So all of you need to include that in your thinking. Just some general comments from people?
Process?
Yeah, well, not about the process, about your learnings.
Oh, yeah, that's my learnings, was the drawing out from what we had, being challenged on that, clarifies the assumptions that we just keep making.
So is this a strategy? I mean, every strategy that I am using, I am deliberately using as a way of modelling for you. So is this something that you can use with the person that you're coaching? The drawing them out. No time for it?
No, there's no time. Look, I love this. And I'm sitting here with my mouth shut and I'm
Right on lunch. Good timing.
I firmly believe in all this, and it deserves time to be given to it.
And
6 days to get your teachers out, sorry, it's not enough to make this really
work.
Positive
Yeah.
and a worthwhile experience and to get the results that they want. It's the time, the payback. They're busy bloody people out there, and we're going, and you want me to sit down and find time, I've got to take time off. They get 6 days out. Sorry, that's it.
And basically what you've got to do, it is your reality. I don't know how many days everyone gets. I'm not sure what your model is. And in everything that you do, you have to ask yourself this question. What's the best that I can do with what I have now? Okay, that's all you can do. What's the best I can do with what I have now? Because we could all have more time, more money, more resources, less interruptions, less emails, less phone calls, whatever. And we can use those as an excuse to do nothing, or we can determine what's the best I can do with what I have now. And I mean, I very deliberately used that question. Because again, here is something that you can use with the people that you're coaching. Because exactly what was just described is their reality. That's their reality. So, I can't do this, I'm too busy. So what's the best you can do with this, with what you've got now? So that's a question that you can use. You can utilise that as a strategy. Okay, thank you. Other comments? Three comments before we go to lunch.
I just noticed there's no quantitative data. I'm in a slightly different situation than Colette, and I think way back when we were given a 5.5 scale score increase to aim for our PAT test. I don't know if you can clarify that for me. No one that I spoke to in the groups had been given any sort of scale score increase to aim for when we're talking about establishing.
You're talking about post data here.
Yeah, no, I mean, we can't, because of the type of, you're talking about that 5.5 is to do with a whole year. We haven't had a whole year, so that we can't actually look at it from that point of view.
I know, Doc, but some schools have done the PAT testing in previous years, so they possibly compare data
They can.
12 months.
They can, but to do with the project, not, but yes, they can.
But, the question was, has anyone been given any sort of scale score to work towards?
I mean, I really like your strategy. So really what you're saying is that part of our setting our goal is to set a smart target, is to set a target that you can aim for, whether it's in 2 months, 12 months, or, whatever. So I think that's an excellent strategy. And I think it's part of establishing goal, and it's also part of establishing will. Because if you're actually aiming for something concrete, and you can measure yourself achieving something concrete. You know, and what we almost always tend to do is exceed our target. So I think that's an excellent strategy that should be up on every piece of paper.
I reckon though because I was thinking in my head, is there some sort of evaluation? I'm not a target school, so...
No.
But, it's like...
But?
And...
Yeah.
God, how many- what are you up to now? What's my train of thought?
And is there some sort of evaluation?
Because the goal that I would have, really, you couldn't have any, it can't be quantified. It's relationship building, and how can I, and because I'm new to this project, I don't have a really good perspective on it. If I continue, and I will, next year I'll have a better perspective on it, and then I can start going goals, post-testing, start thinking along SMART goals like that. But just at the moment I don't. I've got to jump in and experience the whole thing to know, what I'm doing. And the teacher that I'm working with, we're not going to get to that point.
And it's really affirming because with the low SES report that we have to do, we do the quantitative data for maths and literacy, and it's really affirming that we are getting well above that 5.5. So I just hope I'm able to
So can I just unpack this a little bit further too? The goal doesn't necessarily have to be student outcome, which is measurable some way.
See, ours is a little bit different.
Yeah.
The actual, the coaching, the whole project is all about improving teacher, so they become better teachers, so that you can eventually get the student outcomes.
I think that's where we're aiming for, and I think that we need incremental goals. So the incremental goal, and again, I'm probably not going to be saying the exact right things, but the incremental goal may be, and it has to be specific to that teacher, that this teacher, maybe the goal is that this teacher establishes reading groups in their room and runs them twice a week from now on, or whatever it is that it is. Maybe that's the goal, and that is measurable and quantifiable.
See, we've been doing it in a number of the schools. The coaches have been going in and doing observation sheets, right? So that's qualitative data, all right? Well, some of it's quantitative data, but from that, then the second round is then you go through that second round of then looking at that observation the second time and seeing what you see.
Yeah.
A lot more. So that to me is
and it needs to be overt and articulated. So if you want someone to achieve a goal, they need to know what they're working for. So if you've done the observation and you've identified whatever the teaching practice is that you want them to be incorporating in, then the goal is next observation, that you use this strategy, 3 times or whatever it is. That's the goal. So the goals are incremental.
And also with like a certain experience, we've got a data goal, which is that the children will obviously improve in their PAT school. Okay? And we've got a year group goal where we're aiming that the children will be aiming towards their achievement standard that links to the Australian curriculum in money, because we're looking at money in our year group. Then the teachers have all got their individual goals about what they need to work on, and then I have a goal about what I would like to achieve with those individual teachers. So there are sub-levels within those goals
and
as
it's
well.
quite specific, and it's all written down. It's all.
So maybe there needs to be more sort of. So what Verity is explaining is exactly what I had in mind. So can I just ask, is anyone else that explicit with their goals? Yes? No?
Because I work with them.
Yeah.
Same school. And we've run a term already, so we're talking from experience of already done a term. So
they're further along than most of the schools, but most of the schools are getting that going.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. One more comment, and then we'll have this delicious hot lunch that's up there. Joanne?
Is said that that there's a lot of stuff that we should be arguing, challenging. But when I walked around, it's the same stuff.
On every,
So we're all thinking
the same thing. Yeah. And I mean, I think every single strategy that's up there is a good strategy, as long as you know what it means. So, you know, the example for, if I can just pick on this group down here who had beautiful strategies up here, I see we had a conversation around this strategy. It's an excellent strategy. Be aware of who you will be dealing with and how you will deal with them. That's a great attitude. That's a great concept. Yes, you do need to be aware of who you're going to be dealing with and who you are dealing with and how you're going to deal with them. My challenge to you is to articulate, how do you do that? I mean, it's all very well to sit here and say this grandiose statement, be aware of who you're dealing with, when in reality, we will all march into whoever we're coaching with and deal with them in the way that we prefer to behave. That's the reality of how people interact. So if you are going to be aware of who you're dealing with and how to meet their needs, that will mean on many occasions you will actually have to change the way you behave. And let me give you some clear, specific examples. For example, my approach to information is I need the whole picture first. Only when I understand the whole story can I even engage with the individual bits of detail. If you are a person who deals with detail first and you come in and coach me by giving me detail, I'll walk out and say, I don't know what they're talking about. I can't get my head around it. I don't like it. I don't want to do it anymore. So you need to do two things. You need to identify that I prefer to work from the big picture. That's the first thing. The second thing you need to do as the detail person is to change your style of giving and receiving, of giving and presenting information to suit my learning need. It's exactly what you do with the 30 kids you've got sitting in front of you in your class every day. If you're not meeting their individual learning needs, they're not going to learn or be engaged. Now that is one simple example. That's what I mean when I'm challenging what you've got up there. Your concepts are all correct. And what do they mean you need to do?